Alright, so I don't know what to call this video. Call it reaction, call it nostalgia rush times 10, whatever the case you want to call it. But I just wanted to talk about Naruto Shippuden episode 1 because it just premiered on Toonami where it should have been from the very beginning. And I just really wanted to talk about, kind of like going back and experiencing it again. And just a lot of the epic foreshadowing that from the very get-go, the anime just really threw in your face that yeah, a lot of the stuff is going to go down eventually one way or another. I'm not the biggest fan of Naruto dub. Over time, I actually grew to enjoy it more than I previously did. But there was definitely some voices in there. I'm like, a little bit like, looking back and I see like Konohamaru. But one of the things, like, hands down, I think it was a very smart decision was what they did with the anime. Because if they didn't do it the way they did it with kind of having some of that stuff that happens later on with them finding Sasuke finally and having that in the beginning, it would have been a lot more of a slower episode. It wouldn't have been nowhere near as impactful. Like when I'm watching this, I feel like I'm watching like a little mini movie or some shit, especially with it being a continuation right from the Naruto versus Sasuke stuff, and it's just like, yo, they finally met up, and it just seems so of a theatrical experience to a certain degree, and I really just had like a blast watching it. Like, first of all, the foreshadowing when the QB says, Uchiha Madara, your chakra is just as ominous and reminds me as him. It really is just foreshadowing, and it's funny because it's like the very first episode, and it's foreshadowing a dude that you won't see for millions of episodes later, but nonetheless, it was like from the get-go, yeah, this is a big part of the story, and that man, even though you don't know who he is, you're gonna know him, and you're gonna fear the motherfucker. And I just really like the way they did that because this episode wouldn't have been nowhere near as impactful. It wouldn't have been nowhere near as an incredible start as it was with that because, you got Naruto and Sasuke reunion again. Sasuke pulling out the sword. Everything is different now. And even Sasuke throwing a little bit in Naruto's face, kind of taunting him when he tells him that, don't you have that dream to become Hokage? Shouldn't you have been, like, following that instead of, like, chasing after me still? And that's something that kind of, like, if anything, that's a bit of, I would say, the fans at that point, what they would be saying to Naruto to a certain degree of like pretty much, yo, why were you following him? You could have been training. So that's almost as if the community, if you really look at it in a certain way, is telling Naruto that, like, why were you chasing this dude? But at the end of the day, it's that promise that he made, and once he made that promise, it wasn't going to be broken. Flashbacks in there was just really reminding people, because you got to remember, when this came on, it was after 80 episodes. I believe it was 80 episodes of filler, so over a year's worth of filler material of you not getting Naruto, and then it's just like, let me remind you what happened after, before all this filler stuff. So those flashbacks were needed, although unfortunately we would get a lot of them many times over and over throughout the series. But nonetheless, it's just, it was just such an amazing experience. I just wanted to share with you guys. If you watch it on Toonami, I'm curious to see what you people feel about it. Knowing what you know about the series now, where we're at now, whether you're a manga-only viewer, a reader, or anime-only viewer, just going back and experience this, it really just reminds you a lot of the reasons why you initially started loving the series, whether you picked it up from the very beginning, whether you picked it up from Shippuden and worked your way backwards at some given point. Just in general, it really feels like a monumental moment when you see this and you experience it. Okay, it's on Toonami, it's on where it should have been, because Disney, they fucking did it dog shit. And it kind of gave me a little chuckle when I forget which character it was. I think it was either Naruto or Sasuke says it's been 2.5 years or something. Yeah, it's been 2.5 years since Disney probably fucking played this shit, because they fucking suck. And I'm just overall glad Naruto Shippuden where it should have been. And this episode 1, they really did an amazing job with putting a lot of that stuff from the later parts in the beginning to get people back into it, because aside from that, you would have had Konohamaru chasing a cat. You would have had Sakura being annoying. The best moment, aside from like a lot of that Sasuke stuff, was definitely Naruto just saying, I'm home. And it kind of felt like it resonated in a way with, Toonami, because like, it's finally home where it should have been from the beginning. So just overall, it was a great feeling. I just wanted to share this with you guys. My reaction, again, just nostalgia in general, just being excited to see Naruto Shippuden on there. And with this one, I'm kind of considering maybe doing some more like reactions of like kind of rewatching the series as it plays. I'm not going to do every episode, definitely no. But what I will do is like when there's a moment that I know I'm going to be excited about, or you guys hit me up and tell me, yo, this episode is going to happen tonight, I'll rewatch it again and maybe I'll talk about it and we can have some discussions going, because it was just a true treat. And I loved the animation looking beautiful as ever. Some of the later parts of the episode was kind of like, okay, whatever, Konohamaru, stuff like that. But just the beginning, it just starts off with such a bang, and they did an amazing job. And I'm just, again, excited to see Shippuden on Toonami where it should have been. Let me know. Share your excitement with me if you've seen it. If you just recently rewatched Naruto Shippuden episode 1 again, what feeling did you get out of it? And just did you really get like a lot of the texture and foreshadowings of stuff to come? It's like you just see it there. It's just like Naruto and Sasuke, the mentions of Madara, one of the biggest villains of the entire series. Bang, there in your face, episode 1. And it was just awesome. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up for Shippuden back on Toonami, or beginning on Toonami where it should have been, because fuck you, Disney. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.